Hello children, welcome back to P.N.AMERSEY e-learning classes. Let's start with the English supplementary reading, chapter number 7, The Wonder Called Sleep. So children, let's start with the chapter. So there are three main points what the chapter is saying to us. First point is our body and brain recover from fatigue after a good sleep. So when we sleep, our body and brain it recover from fatigue. What is the meaning of fatigue? It means complete rest to the body and brain. We dream while sleeping, but we do not always remember our dreams. So when we sleep, when we have a sound sleep, we dream, but sometimes we always don't remember our dreams. During sleep, our heartbeats become slower and our temperature and blood pressure goes down. So during the sleep, when we sleep, our heartbeats it becomes slower and our temperature and blood pressure it goes down. We know enough about what sleep is, though we don't know what exactly causes sleep. So children, we know what is sleep, but exactly we don't know what caused the sleep. Sleep is a state of rest. Now what is sleep? Sleep is the state of rest. When we sleep, we take rest. An unconscious rest. An unconscious rest. We don't know what's happening around us. When we go to sleep, we are unconscious. When we sleep, our body recovers from fatigue caused by the day's activities. So when we sleep, our body takes complete rest by all the day's activities which we have done on that day. So when we sleep, our body recovers complete rest. We become alert and active again, ready for the normal activities of the day. So when we have a sound sleep and very good sleep, so next day we become very alert. Our mind becomes very alert and our body becomes very active and ready for the normal activities of the following next day. When we wake up in the morning, it is not always possible for us to remember what happened when we were asleep. So when we wake up in the morning next day, it is not always possible for us to remember that what happened when we went to sleep. We may remember a dream, but the rest of our sleep was a kind of darkness in which nothing seems to have taken place. So when we go for a sound sleep, we dream, and sometimes what happened that we may remember our dream, but sometimes we don't, and it is just a darkness in which nothing seems to have happened or taken place. Several things happen in our body while we are sleeping. As we sink deeper into sleep, our muscles relax more and more. So when we sleep, several things happen in our body. What's happened? When we go in a deep sleep, our muscles relax more and more. So what happened to our muscles? They relax because we are in a deep sleep. Our body is taking rest and our brain is also taking rest. So what happened to our muscles? They relax more and more. Our heartbeat becomes slower. What happened to our heartbeat? They become slower. Our temperature and blood pressure goes down. What happened to our body temperature? They go down, and even the BP also, blood pressure also, they go down. The ever active brain also slows down so that we can't think or act consciously. So even the brain, the activity of brain, that also goes down. Why? Because we are in the deep sleep and we cannot think or act consciously, because we are unconscious when we sleep, but we dream. But if we are sleeping soundly, dream comes. When we wake up, our temperature and blood pressure rise to normal. So when we wake up, again the body it becomes normal. Our temperature and blood pressure and brain activity becomes normal. Now we will see the next part of the chapter. It is about the dream. So now again we are having the 3 points. What dream is? A dream is an activity of the mind when we are asleep. So what is a dream? dream is an activity of the mind. It is just an activity which is happening in our mind. Why? Because we are in a deep sleep. Dreams help us sleep through noise and other disturbances. So, when we dream, it helps us to keep our body and mind away from the noise and other disturbance. Dreams may reveal something about one's problems, but they cannot tell the future. So, when we are in some tensions or stress, so we dream about same thing, what is there in our mind, but it cannot tell the future. Dream never tell the future. What is a dream? It is an activity of the mind that takes place when we are asleep. So we have seen in the point what is dream. It is an activity of the mind that takes place when we are asleep. Our mind is working that time. Our mind is active during when we are sleeping. So we dream. Some dreams are probable while others are not. So some dreams are probable, means yes or no, but others are not. We remember and sometimes we don't remember. That only means that many of the things that happens in dreams could happen, but we are awake. So that only means that many of the things which we dreams, it happens in our life, but sometimes we could not remember them. Others could not. Sometimes we don't remember our dreams. Dream seems to be important for several reasons. Now what are those several reasons? One is that a dream can help us to sleep through noise or other disturbances. So when we sleep, we dream, and that dream can help us to sleep through noise and other disturbance also. Now for example, the alarm clock rings, but our mind causes us to dream that the telephone or doorbell is ringing and that we are awake and answering it. So when we are in a deep sleep and alarm clock rings, so what our mind says, we dream that telephone or doorbell is ringing and we are answering it. We are in the dream, and in dream we are seeing that telephone or doorbell is ringing and we are awake and we are answering it. Certain doctors have found that one's dreams often reveal a great deal about one's problems, and that if understood correctly. Now certain doctors, they have found that when we are in some problem, our brain continuously is thinking about that problem, and what happened in dream also, we are seeing that same thing, that something is going on in our life if we understand correctly. They can provide a key to the solution of those problems. Now sometimes our dream can provide the key to the solution of those problems which are going in our life. But we must remember one thing, dreams cannot be used as a way to tell the future. So sometimes we get the answer of our problems also in our dream, but we should remember that also, that dreams cannot tell the future. They simply can never tell the future. So dreams, they can simply never tell our future. Sleep is the most common experience. So all sleep, it is the most common experience. But how many of us really think about the wonder and power of sleep? So how many of us really think the power of sleep, wonder and power of sleep? Many poets have written beautiful poems about sleep. Here is the one in which the poet is describing the experience of falling asleep. So children, many of the poets, they have written the beautiful poems about the sleep. Now here also there is one poem, Lights Out, which has been written by Edward Thomas. This poet, he is also describing the experience of falling asleep. So we will read the poem and we will understand what the poet wants to say about the sleep. And the poet name is Edward Thomas and the poem name is Lights Out. So in first stanza, the poem describes about the sleep. I have come to the borders of sleep, the unfathomable deep forest where all must lose their way, however straight or winding, soon or late they cannot choose. Here in the first stanza of Lights Out, the poet begins by describing the process of entering into sleep. Now he is entering into the sleep, this unknown world, which is represented by the unfathomable, means dark, deep forest, also stands as a symbol of death. He is on the brink of it, and once he crossed over, he is going to lose his way, just as everyone else does. It's impossible, he adds, for everyone to maintain control over where they go or where their way ends up. It could be wandering or straight, but they cannot choose. The perfect scheme in this lines has smoothing effect. The poet does not depict sleep, death as something to be feared. It is just another step, and one must embrace the lack of control that comes with it. Now in second stanza, the poet writes, there is not any book or face of dearest look that I would not turn from now to go into the unknown. I must enter and leave alone, I know not how. So again children, your poet says that he is there at the edge of sleep, death. He knows that it is the only option. In fact, it is the ideal option. There is nothing that could take him away from the forest, not a book or the face of someone he loves. The poet uses a confident and determined tone to state that this is the only choice there is and the only one that he really wants to make. So children, I hope you have understood the chapter. See you in the next video with the question and answers. Till then, stay safe.